Well, good morning. Jagandar Rana here. The topic of the day is the Consumer Protection Act 2002. Consumer Protection Act 2002. The Consumer Protection Act of 2002 was established to help consumers in India resolve disputes and enforce their rights. The Act allows consumers to file complaint against businesses for defective products, misleading ads, unfair trade practices, and other issues. Consumers can also seek compensation, refunds, repairs, or replacements from businesses. So that also requires the government to establish consumer councils at the districts, states, and central level. So that provides a legal framework for consumers to make informed purchasing decisions and promote fair trade practices. It also allows consumers to file complaints with consumer forum without paying a court fee or hiring a lawyer. The forums have special powers to take action against suppliers and award compensation to consumers. The consumer courts can also fine or punish businesses that violate the Act. In 2024, the Consumer Protection Salary Allowance and Conditions of Services of President and members of the State Commissions and District Commissions amendments model rules were introduced. Now, actually, what is the Consumer Protection Act? So, the Consumer Protection Act, implemented in 1986, gives easy and fast compensation to consumer grievances. It safeguards and encourages consumers to speak against insufficiency and flaws in goods and services. If traders and manufacturers practice any illegal trade, this Act protects their rights as a consumer. So the primary motivation of this forum is to bestow aid to both the parties and eliminate lengthy lawsuits. This Protection Act covers all goods and services of all public, private, or cooperative sectors except those exempted by the central government. That provides a platform for a consumer whether they can file their complaint, and the forum takes action against the concerned supplier, and compensation is granted to the consumer for the hassle he or she has encountered. The rights of the consumers includes the right to safety. Means before buying, a consumer can insist on the quality and guarantee of the goods. They should ideally purchase a certified product like ISI or Agmark. Then the right to choose. Consumers should have the right to choose from a variety of goods and in a competitive price. And right to be informed. Buyers should be informed with all the necessary details of the product. Make her or him act wise and change the buying decision. And right to consumer education. Consumers should be aware of his or her rights and avoid exploitation. Ignorance can cost them more. Right to be heard. This means the consumer will get due attention to express their grievances at a suitable forum, and then the right to seek the compensation. They defines that the consumer has the right to seek redress against unfair and inhuman practice or exploitation of the consumer. So the responsibility of the consumer is to be aware. A consumer has to be mindful of the safety and quality of the products and services before purchasing. And responsibility to think independently. Consumer should be well connected or well concerned about what they want and need, and therefore make independent choices. Responsibility to speak out. Buyers should be fearless to speak out their grievances and tell traders what they exactly want. Responsibility to complain. It is the consumer's responsibility to express and file a complaint about their dissatisfaction with goods or services in a sincere and fair manner. And the responsibility to be ethical consumer. They should be fair and not engage themselves with any deceptive practice. Now the question is how to file a complaint. Within 2 years of purchasing the product or services, the complaint should be filed. And the complaint, the consumer should mention the details of the problem. This can be an exchange or replacement of the product, compensation for mental or physical torture. However, the declaration needs to be reasonable. Of the relevant receipts, bills should be kept and attached to the complaint letter. A written complaint should be then sent to the consumer forum via email, registered post, fax or hand delivered. Acknowledgement is important and should not be forgotten to receive. The complaint can be in any preferred language. The hiring of a lawyer not required. All the documents sent and received should be kept. The above mentioned is the concept that is elucidated in detail about the Consumer Protection Act for the consumers. Now the question is, this Consumer Protection Act is to provide better protection of the interest of the consumer and to establish consumer councils and other authorities for settlement of consumer disputes and for matters connected therewith. The main objective of the Act is to provide simple, speedy and inexpensive redressal to consumer grievances. Insurance services fall within the purview of this Act, and every buyer of insurance, that is the policyholder, is a consumer. Important features of this Act is that it covers all goods and services, it covers the sectors that is private, public and cooperative. Remedy available is simple, speedy and inexpensive. Provisions of the Act are in addition to and not in derogation of any other law. The consumer is defined as any person who buys goods or consideration for a consideration or avails any services for consideration. Services including banking, insurance, etc., but does not include the rendering of any service free of cost. Deficiency in service means any fault, imperfection or inadequacy in the quality, nature and manner of performance in relation to any service. A complaint can be made to the appropriate forum in writing within 2 years from the date on which the cause of action arose. So under the Married Women's Property Act 1874, the policyholder, nominee, assignee, beneficiary of an insurance policy are considered as consumers. Deficiency in service may relate to issuance of receipt, transfer of files, and quick settlement of claim, etc. So the structure of the Consumer Protection Act is 3-tier basis. First is district forum, that is composition of this forum is means president, district judge and 2 other members, 1 lady member. Jurisdiction is value of services and compensation claims does not exceed 20 lakh. Then state commission, composition is president, high court judge, members not less than 2, 1 lady member. Jurisdiction, complaints of value claimed if exceeds 20 lakhs but does not exceed 1 crore. Then there is national commission. Composition means president, Supreme Court judge, members not less than 4, 1 lady member. Jurisdiction, original complaint where the value of services and compensation exceeds rupees 1 crore. So for appeal before the state commission, section 15, against the order of the district forum within a period of 30 days, subject to deposit of 50% of the amount awarded or rupees 25,000, whichever is less. And appeal before the national commission, section 19, against the order of the state commission, appeal period 30 days, subject to deposit of 50% of the amount awarded or rupees 35, whichever is less. So before the Supreme Court, section 23, against the order of the national commission, appeal of period 30 days, subject to deposit of 50% of the amount awarded or 50,000, whichever is less. The district forum and the state commission or the national commission shall not admit a complaint unless it is filed within 2 years from the date on which the cause of action has arises. When a person against whom a complaint is made or the complaint fails to comply with the order of district forum, state and national commission, such a person may be imprisoned for a term minimum 1 month to maximum 3 years, or with the minimum rupees 2,000 to maximum rupees 10,000, or both. Now the question is how the insured can resolve disputes by approaching these forum. So according to the amount, they can file the complaints before the forum or state commission or before the national commission, because the Consumer Protection Act is for all, to provide for better protection of the interest of the consumer and to establish consumer council and to other authorities for the settlement of consumer disputes and or matters connected therewith, because the main objective of the act is to provide simple, speedy and inexpensive redressal to consumer grievances. Insurance service fall within the purview of this act, and every buyer of insurance, that is the policyholder, is a consumer. Thank you very much.